Greetings, everyone. Whoops. That was a close one. Anyway, we're just gonna move on swiftly from that and pretend it never happened. Welcome back to a long overdue episode of Minecrafting with Ultra. I don't know if any of you remember, but I am still Ultra. That much remains the same, although much has changed. The build still remains the same though. That hasn't changed. I haven't done anything with this. I haven't finished it. I have gotten it planned out though, as you can see here on screen before you, a bit of a teaser. But we've got some work to do before we get to that point. We're gonna have to move all this junk. I don't even remember why I have this thing here. I think I was composting mangrove stuff. We're gonna have to deal with these guys down here, which is kind of unfortunate. You're gonna have to stick around and find out what their fate is in a little bit. It's not what I had originally wanted. But we do have some fun stuff planned, and I do intend to finish this entire build today and get this out in a world download to you guys. So we're gonna get right on into it, I reckon. I have been collecting tons and tons of stuff that I'm gonna use for the build, as you can see here. All sorts of little goodies. Probably gonna need more, but I think this is a pretty good start. I think we're at least gonna be able to get a good start going on the outside, kind of on the courtyard of the build here. And that's gonna involve some shoveling. I can't believe that my last content creation anything was almost 6 months ago. I am really sorry for the delay, but I did want to thank you guys for your patience and your continued support. I did this build and wanted to have this out in celebration of 1,000 subscribers, and here we are 6 months later at 1,500 subscribers. So thank you guys. There, and with that, I have successfully destroyed the courtyard. That's right, it looks like trash now, but we're gonna fix it. And with the power of editing and sand, we've done just that. Well, sand, a couple paths, and a little bit of a pond kind of down here in the middle. I left this empty because we've got some cool stuff coming for the pond later on. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming actually for the courtyard down here, but we had to get kind of some of this boring stuff out of the way first. And I know some of you are asking, Ultra, where? That's what you sound like to me also, by the way. But Ultra, where are the sniffers? Where did you put those guys? And fear not, dear viewer, they're fine. They're fine. Their fate is not as glorious as it could have been. Originally, I wanted them to be kind of free range, roaming around in the courtyard out here doing their thing. But unfortunately, I forgot about them during the design phase. So they live in here. They have little jail cells where they live in here. I put each of them together. Whoop, is there only one? Okay, there is 2 in there. Yeah, so we got 2 in there. We got 2 in there, and then their little stuff goes in here. And then if I get too much, I can put it in there, and also in here. And eventually, I might do something cooler for these guys, something a little bit more befitting of something so awesome as them. But for now, this is gonna have to do because, like I said, I forgot. After that, it was time to move on with some greenery, or pinkery rather, as I decided to dot some custom cherry trees around the outer edge of the courtyard. We got 8 of them all the way around the courtyard. And I added these little things for them down here, these little I don't know, pot holder, giant pot holder, plant holder kind of things to kind of separate them from the sandy parts. Put these little flower pot designs kind of around the outside with the, whatever you call it, the azalea bushes. And I think it's starting to look quite nice down here. We need a few more details kind of around the outside edge here. And then we need the middle, the centerpiece here, but I'm waiting for that. That's gonna be the coolest part, kind of in my opinion. So we're saving that for a little later. For now, we need some rocks. Lots and lots of rocks, kind of all the way around. The idea was to make this one of those little Zen gardens. The idea is I would be down here kind of with my little rake, and I'd be raking little circles in the sand, kind of around the rocks, you know what I mean? I even put some rocks around this side here, around the back side on the hill. And then while I had those blocks in my inventory, I also kind of reshaped this a little bit. I retextured it to make it look a little nicer. And I ripped out most of the cobblestone here that had kind of marked where the stairs was gonna go, because we're getting ready to put in the real stairs that are gonna go here, because we're getting closer. We're working our way up towards the interior behind me. But I did kind of reshape this a little bit. I moved some grass around and put a few rocks on either side here to make it look a little bit better. I want this build to look like it's up on a hill. I don't want it to look like it's just the foundation of it kind of all the way down. So I want to keep this grass and a bit of the cliff kind of along here and maybe up here a bit. So that's kind of why we're doing that. But for now, we need some stairs. And then after that, it only leaves us with a few things left to do before we can call the courtyard complete. We're gonna do one of those things together right now. Also, I apologize for all of the audio stuff. that's been going on. I know my voice has been kind of weird. I got sick. I got sick. I took a couple days off. And then also I've been recording this over a long time. So there's been several recording sessions, and I'm finding out apparently that I am not very good at putting my microphone back in the same spot every time I record. But I guess that's just gonna be one of those things that we're just gonna have to deal with. I'm gonna come on down here. It does look like it's getting nighttime, so maybe we'll do this in the morning. All right, anyway, stuff and things. Sorry, we're gonna do a thing. We're gonna do the next step down here for the courtyard together, and it involves these little dudes down here. I made their little paddocks kind of more aesthetically pleasing, I guess. That way it was nicer to look at. It's loud over here. We're gonna go over here. But I made their paddocks nicer. They still can't get out, but you get a nice little view of them in there. They have plenty of room. It's perfectly humane. Do not judge me. It's fine. They love it here. But we're gonna come down here and we're gonna grab some of their stuff. I don't know how much we need. We're just gonna grab some of their stuff, some of their droppings, if you will, and we're gonna bring it in here. Another thing I've got with me is my trusty hoe, my favorite hoe, my best hoe. And we're gonna come over here with it, and we're gonna go ho, 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 all the way down this thing here. And then we're gonna plant, which ones do we want? I want the pitcher pods in the back, like this. And then we'll hold these ones, like this. And we're gonna put the torch flowers in the front. And look, they're already growing. Nope. Oh. Torch flower. Can't keep up with it with my hoe. I can't hoe fast enough. There we go. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do that all the way around, and we're gonna use these to decorate the outside of the courtyard. And then while we wait for those to grow, we can plant some flowers, kind of just along in different spots. I wanna kind of use these lilacs and these pink petals, and I've got some pink tulips as well that we can put around in different spots like that. And then we'll put the little pink petals kind of on the ground, just in different spots. And I think that'll end up looking pretty nice. And then I'll come through with some bone meal as well, because I do want to have some grass. Do I have bone meal? I do. My inventory is a mess, I know. I don't think I want the tall grass. We'll get rid of that. But yeah, I think that looks kind of nice. And then we can just put maybe another little tulip there, and bone meal. Boom, perfect. It's a beautiful little hillside. And then after I finished the other side, I decided to go through and install these Torii gates, and I've got some pretty cool plans for these that you're gonna have to wait and see in a little bit. I wanna tie them into something that we've already done here. There, and with that, y'all, the courtyard nears completion. We're almost done with this whole mama. We still gotta do the interior and the centerpiece out here. But I think I'm gonna time-lapse those because it's easier for multiple reasons. One reason, it's easier for me to just kind of put on some music and just kind of build. And two, you guys have been asking about the world download. I've been getting a lot of comments recently about it, and I wanna get this build finished up and get it out to you guys. I really do. So I suppose without further ado, why don't we kick this off into a little bit of a time-lapse mode, get this interior finished off and get this little centerpiece done so we can call this build complete. With the sound of that gong, my friends, we are done. And I could not be happier to finally be presenting this to you guys. Almost 8 months later, here it is. Ta-da! Here's the whole thing. You come in here at the entrance past our little sniffer dudes, and you're greeted by these dueling dragons, and these are probably, not even probably, these are 100% my favorite things that I've ever built, ever. And I don't want them to be thought of as like an organic structure. I'd rather them be thought of as like part of the fountain. Like in my mind, they're kind of like statues, I guess. They're more or less a design aesthetic and not supposed to be representative of living things. But I think they turned out super, super awesome. I especially love the way that they kind of bob and weave and wind and snake in between each other. I think it's super cool. You can see it best kind of from up here, from above. But yeah, I think they turned out awesome. And a couple of these torii gates here I decorated, and you'll notice there's some decorations up here on these lines. These are for the patrons. I've got the brown here representing pride, and I've got purple for club, and then we've got the green over here for Sharon, just like we have up in their shrines. And I'll just show them in case you guys haven't seen. These shrines here, we've got these shrines. This one here is for Sharon. And this is for, if you subscribe, I believe it's at the mega tier, whether it be on Patreon or as a YouTube channel member, you get a custom shrine in my world. So this one's for Sharon. This one over here is for Pride Ceratops. And if we go past our little map room here, ooh, you know what? We can update it. Yeah, look at that. That's cool. With the dragons on there, I love that. But this one over here, though, is for Quub. So if you would like a custom shrine and you'd like to be represented in my world, check out the Patreon or sign up as a YouTube channel member. And then we can figure out from there if you want like a certain block or something, maybe a sign or something to represent you in the world. I can do something like this. So I've got 7 more of these torii gates and 7 more of these little patron towers up here that I can put you in. But that's enough shameless plugging. Let's finish showing you guys the build here. I think y'all have waited long enough. You saw the sides. The sides are the sides. And I also wanted, I put a lot of like vegetation and stuff in here. I wanted it to look like it was super overgrown and almost more like a pond than a fountain, I guess. And originally I had designed to do some more lily pad things, but I didn't have very many and I didn't feel like going and getting any. I wanted to get it finished up and get this out to you guys. Y'all have waited long enough. That's about it for the courtyard though. So when we come up here, we're greeted with the palace itself, the temple itself, whatever you want to call it. And I got these little rug designs that I did all the way around. And we got the tree here. This is kind of the centerpiece, or the intended centerpiece, with more of the Patreon banners kind of stashed away up there. But this is supposed to be a bonsai tree. I wanted it to look like the branches were kind of bendy and curvy, and the tree kind of twists and curved its way up to the top. And I think it turned out okay. But the real star of the show in here, I think, are the staircases. I love these staircases. I did them to match the dueling dragons on the outside, and I just wanted it to look like you kind of climbed up the dragon's back to get up to the next level. And I think those are probably the coolest part of the interior of this, in my opinion. I do like these pillars, but they kind of pale in design to this. I wanted it to look actually like these pillars, but like the dragon had wrapped around it. So if we take the stairs upstairs, past our epic little chandeliers that we've got going on there, we're greeted with the top floor. And it's just the top of the tree, a couple branches kind of spread around, a few more chandeliers, and there's a really big chandelier that hangs in the middle over there. But I just kind of decorated it as much as I could. I put a bunch of gold all the way around with some gold statues to kind of tie that all together. And yeah, the sun is setting. I think as it does so, I'm going to wrap this episode up, finally, and get it out to you guys. I'm gonna do a world download. It's gonna be available. There should be a link in the description. I'm gonna try and do a Java and Bedrock version. That way I can kind of share the love and pass that around a little bit like that. So yeah, this will be a free download available for everybody, just because I appreciate you guys being patient and waiting as long as you have. I will say, I don't know when the next episode will be. I do hope that it's not another like 6 to 9 months. I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that that's not the case. I do have some more builds planned that I can do that are on a much smaller scale than this. So yeah, thank you guys again for your patience. And thank you guys for watching. If you're still here, you're the best. I really, really appreciate you guys. And I guess I will see you in the next one.